Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to go over the latest TabStocks article on ZNOG Gas, ticker symbol ZNOG. This was released yesterday, and it says Zion Oil and Gas, ZNOG, the plan is the timing and pipeline application. ZNOG, it says September 22 update looks at oil testing PR for investors. There are two issues this update considers. The first relates to the timing of the PR in relation to the MJ2 oil testing, and the other issue is to do with an oil pipeline application. Zion Oil and Gas has increased the number of their board members, and for good reason. Zion recently obtained a new license extension. It did this with ease. Before its license extension was granted for the overall permit area, Zion had made an application to explore for oil and gas by drilling another well in Israel. And before Zion released news regarding its plans to drill another well, it had secret meetings with the Israeli Energy Ministry about its plans. I kind of apologize. It's kind of hard. The grammar and stuff is kind of a little difficult to read, especially how it's kind of broken up with all these ads. So I apologize if I have to kind of pause for a second here. It's clear to me that Zion Oil and Gas believes that there's a lot of oil in the zones that they had identified in the deeper levels. The chances of discovering recoverable oil from a well is increased with the 3D data, and Zion Oil and Gas conducted extensive 3D testing on most of their licensed area in Israel. The fact that Zion Oil and Gas has bought a rig could drill deeper following 3D testing speaks volumes, and given plans to drill another well in Israel before the testing of its current MJ2 oil well got underway, something tells me that the signs were good, very good, at the time Zion drilled deeper and completed the drilling phase with MJ02. The ZNOG share price reacted positively towards the end of the drilling of MJ2, and I believe this was due to the fact that Zion Oil and Gas encountered oil. However, ZNOG maintained silence regarding any such oil discovery, though continued with their plans to test MJ02. There are multiple zones of interest within the target area of Zion Oil and Gas and currently testing for oil, and the process is very time-consuming. I believe Zion has proposed plans to the Energy Ministry to build a pipeline from its oil wells to the refinery located to the west. Indeed, I believe Zion Oil and Gas plans to drill another well close to the MJ2, and in fact, I reported this news before Zion Oil and Gas had released news on their intention to drill another oil well to explore for oil and gas. My best guess is that Zion Oil and Gas will release news about their MJ02 testing in early October, and this news should be followed by news of their application to drill another oil well. Upon news of the high-pressure oil flow rates and high recoverability reserve numbers of commercial oil, I believe that news of an intended pipeline will be released in early 2023. On the 16th of September, ZNOG, the share price fell 22% to 17 cents. The ZNOG share price saw peaks of 23 cents from the 15th to the 16th of September, having made gains from 18 cents from the 12th of September 2022. Zion Oil and Gas is trading before a fair average considering the above information in this update. This is due to being on the OTC listed stock, and for the fact that Zion Oil and Gas shares are not listed on many of the exchanges it had been whenever it was in the NASDAQ quoted stock under the ticker symbol ZN. Another aspect keeping the Zion Oil and Gas share price low are political aspects related to the global economy following COVID, the war in Ukraine, and the rise of the cost of living. These issues take money from the stock market where funds are invested in gold and where cash is held back to profit from rising interest rates and for good opportunities to invest in valuable stocks. Positive news from Zion Oil and Gas in respect of their oil testing program for MJ2 should see the ZNOG share price rocket to the moon even on the OTC. And I would have to agree with them on that for sure. Okay, so Again, kind of apologize for the delayed reading. It's a lot. This had a lot more grammatical errors than I was kind of used to from these articles. They usually have some, but usually not that much. It's kind of hard reading some of it. So they're predicting that the announcement will come in October of this year, and they're predicting that they should release something about a pipeline in 2023. Now, all speculative, obviously, because there's nothing. I don't know where he's getting his information from. I think it'd be cool if they did that. Honestly, I wish they'd release news on the MJO2, the results before October. I wish they'd release it tomorrow and have us, send the stock price to the moon like he mentioned, because I do believe with positive news, of course, that's exactly what's going to happen. I also want to touch on a couple of things that was shared on the Zion Oil and Gas Facebook groups. If you're not a member of that, make sure that you go ahead and request to be a member there on the Facebook group. Someone posted that the sections of northern Israel are off limits, and including MJ2, and they said that they don't ask any questions, but they confirmed with an in-country asset. So that's kind of interesting. I'm not too sure exactly what that's about, but in my opinion, if it's off limits to go around the rig, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing for them. So if they're trying to finish up, testing and everything like that, that would be kind of nice to, kind of give them a little bit more privacy, I guess. But they also had, I'm going to pull this up here from KyOil. This was also shared in the Facebook group, and it says, this is from I guess KyOil or KyOil, I don't know how they pronounce it, but it says a possible scenario considerations: DSPP participation is down dramatically for the last 10Q due to the whale dropping out. Cash on hand and projected DSPP inflow would fund operations through November 2022 per the last 10Q, after taking into account the whale dropped out. Per the last PR, multiple zones have been treated/tested. Since then, enough time has transpired to finish testing, but probably not enough time to file the complete field development plan with the NPV to the ministry. Dunn said in the annual meeting the goal was to finish testing in Q3. Q3 report is due early November. And it goes on to say implications. Therefore, I suspect that towards the end of September or early October, there will be a brief PR stating that the treatment/testing has been it kind of goes on, continues on to this, has been completed. This is a substantial progress report, but it will not likely include the results. B, results I anticipate positive will be announced in late October, early November. C, in my honest opinion, it was necessary for the whale's participation through Q1 2022, otherwise there would not be an MJO2. However, it's time for Zion to raise the funds through a diverse investor community at a much higher price per share based on the positive results. The price per share will rise through this time period. It will be a difficult environment in which to buy significant shares without driving the price higher. It says, adding to your post, someone else added to their post that Mr. Dunn stated during the shareholder meeting that we would be able to discern the direction of the company based on the press releases. The hiring of Mr. Starr does not discern a dry hole. Mr. Starr is our new director, and he has successfully established and developed 4 separate oil fields through Crimson 1 to Crimson 4. Why appoint an individual with such experience only to announce a dry hole? Why would an individual with such a successful background in establishing oil fields accept such an appointment with a company as small as Zion if there were no oil field? And then it says there are a few scenarios that can play out. Number 1, everything stays the same and Mr. Starr advises build out of an oil field. Number 2, Mr. Dunn, having found the oil field, steps down as CEO to move on to another venture or retire, and Mr. Starr steps up as CEO to build out the oil field. Or number 3, Mr. Starr is currently considering buying the oil field as Crimson 5 as Zion moves to find more oil on the current license. So yeah, so I mean, it's a lot of different scenarios that are probably playing through a lot of people's minds, and they all sound good, you know, for the most part, and they all make valid points of why bring this guy. We've said this, you know, whenever they announced the guy, was why would you bring this guy on now if you didn't have anything, you didn't have any future plans to do what his experience and expertise is in that particular area, right? And so the time frame of, you know, September, October, well, September is almost done, so you know that means October is right around the corner, and that they do have to say something. There's no possible way that we get ghosted until 2023 from these testing results, in my opinion. I don't see that happening. I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's right. And they have to tell us something of what they found and what their plans are, and it's just going to come in due time. And you know, again, like I said in my other videos, Monday, Thursdays is when that usually happens. So I'm just watching for Monday and Thursdays. That's all I'm watching out from this point. You know, with ZNOG. As far as the charts, we've broke them down on my Sunday night stock pick video. That's already been broken down, so I'm not going to break them down again. I'm just going to tell you that 0.1671 is a very crucial support level, and you know, we did bounce off of 17, or kind of found some support there, and if we fall below 0.1671 without any news, then you have potential to slowly come down and test the 10-cent mark. However, people may see that 16-cent range is where, you know, where the most attractive buying prices are, because that's what happened last time. I thought we were gonna, once we broke below that, we got to 14, we were gonna continue to go down, but it actually popped its head back up. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's gonna for sure go to 10 cents, but if it does break below 16 again, or below 17, below 16.71, then you have the potential to go lower from there. But anyway, so yeah, all some good speculative scenarios and ideas and everything like that, but it's all in ZNOG's hands at this point. So like I said, keep an eye out for Mondays, keep an eye out for Thursdays. That's whenever we typically get any type of updates and PRs from the company. So shout out to TabStocks for making the article. We appreciate, you know, you guys giving us some information on that. Shout out to everyone in the Facebook group for all their research and their, you know, posting to keep everybody else updated as well. And shout out to everybody on TabStocks doing the same thing. So we're all kind of in this together, and we'll kind of go from there. So that's all I got for you in this video, guys. Enjoy your week. Have a great Sunday. Other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.